Oh, it's the silly season. It's the slow season. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Like Big Blue LLC, bringing you all the hits. We got Mr. Rodriguez. Joe Spano says, "Where do you go, my lovely?" It's kind of. Yeah, but you know what? We're here. We're back again. One more time. Want to talk about the New York Football Giants. Want to talk about the draft a little bit. Want to talk about five individual reasons why the New York Football Giants could, not saying they will. I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to throw this caveat out there. Could make the playoffs next year. And I'm not talking 2027. I'm talking 2026. And again, this is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the Mighty FanDuel on Believe. Got to make sure we say all that fun stuff. But there is reasons, there is rationales. I have a thought process. I literally have a thought process about this, about how the Giants could make the playoffs. And there are five individual reasons on how it could be. Yes, and I love it because some people are like, it's April 1st. And no, this is not this is literally not an April Fool's joke. This was something that I thought of. This was something that crossed my mind yesterday. And this is something that I looked at for a little while now. Poop on my chest. Beckham's trying to be a Giant again. You know, it's funny. Let's talk about OBJ for a second. Victor Cruz. I'm going to tell you true stories, a sad but a true story about Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, of course, got cut by the Giants after the injury, had a very pedestrian season over with the Bears, and then the next season, nothing. Nada. He should have hung it up. And I'm sitting there. I'm at the Giant preseason game that next year, and lo and behold, I'm on the field and standing there and looking. Who's in front of me? It's Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz was soliciting hard for an opportunity.
That's what she said.
To come back to the New York Football Giants. You knew his career was over. You knew it was done. You know, I'm not going to say a player is washed up, but his talent was no longer readily available. But he was trying to come back. And he was listed, and I have pictures of it. We shown the pictures. This is when he's talking to Joe Shane. No, I believe it was Gettleman. No, it was Gettleman back then. Yeah, he was talking to Dave Gettleman. He was talking to Mr. Mara. He was doing all this shit to try to get back into a New York Giant uniform one last time to give himself one more opportunity. And it was kind of sad. I'm not going to lie. It was a little sad to watch. And now I'm seeing the same thing with OBJ. He hasn't played in almost a year and a half. He was suspended last year for 6 games for PEDS. He has not had a renaissance of his career in years, if we're going to be honest. If you sit there and you take a look at when he was not pedestrian, that he was at the top of his game, you got to go back to 19. 27 years old, and that's not even 74 receptions, 134 yards, 4 touchdowns. That was his best season. 20 was nothing. He had the injury, only 23 receptions. 21 had 44 receptions for 500 yards. 20 and he had total of 44 receptions. That was the year he went over to the Rams and helped them make the playoffs and go into the Super Bowl. He was out in 22. In 23, he played in Baltimore, started 6 games, 35 receptions, 565 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then last year, he was in Miami for 9 games, started none, had 9 receptions, 55 yards, and then he didn't play all last year. This is literally the Deshaun Watson scenario. This is literally not Deshaun Watson, Colin Kaepernick scenario. That's what this is. There is a point in time, and we talked about nostalgia. When you're 33 years old, you'll be 34 in November. Yes, you had a good career as a Giant, but your career arc dropped as soon as you left the Meadowlands / MetLife. You had 1 season after the 18 season where you consider yourself. Now, I'm not even going to, and even then that 19 season, I don't even consider OBJ at the top of his game that year. I don't. But you had one good season, but then the rest was you were nothing. And I love it because someone was like, he's better than Jalen Hyatt. Well, that's great because more than likely Jalen Hyatt's not going to be on the team. So if he's better than Jalen Hyatt, that's fantastic. But if Jalen Hyatt's not even going to be playing, what does it matter? It's again, we've talked about this. It's nostalgia over talent. It's that the circumstance that we know over, is he actually good and actually going to be. I have to get the new copy. We got a new copy for Zipper for one of the spots. I got to find the new copy. Hold on. But it's one of those things that he is no longer a talent. This is what's sad. This is what's sad about him. Odell Beckham Jr. is no longer a talent. He's a name. That's what he is. He's no longer the stalwart wide receiver. He is the name OBJ. You could see that one great catch he had playing against nobody and flag football. You can reminisce all you want, but this guy is going to be 34 years old. John Harbaugh, we did a video yesterday. John Harbaugh gave the greatest answer, the greatest reply. John Harbaugh was like, you know what? We'll have to look at everything. We're going to have to look at everybody. We would be dumb if we did not look at everybody. I hate this multiple verification process. You need a process to process the verification of the process to get something email for the process. Just want to fucking sign into my email without having to go through 14 different fucking things to get to my email. Because I'm on a different computer, even though I'm on the same network. To find out that the email's not even here. Oh, dear Lord. But like we said, oh, no, it is right here. Like we said before, he is now a name. He is no longer he's no longer anything that's going to be worth being competitive. And I'm not trying to be mean about Odell, but he's not. And we wish, like I said, like all of the Giant fans, we wish him well. We wish you well. Make sure you're hitting the like button, guys. Hit that like button. But I was talking about the Giants and making the playoffs. Oh, Massey drops in the Super Chat. All Super Chats go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Tim, 18 games, soon more international games owners want. When will we have the first Super Bowl played internationally? Feels soon and most likely EU. Massey, you had two great points today. And I gotta give Massey a shout out because I did a podcast yesterday. Like one of our normal video podcasts. We haven't done like a normal video podcast in a while. And he was like, I like these. I forgot all about these. I like these. And I actually enjoy doing them as well. And I think we're going to kind of try to go back down to that direction. Mike Lee's in his house. 18 games is coming. The USFL back in the early 80s showed the way. Showed the way for 18 games. Showed, though, even though it was a spring season, you could still have an 18-game schedule, which gives you additional revenue. Now, what's going to happen is, and what's going to need to happen if you go to an 18-game schedule is there is going to be an uproar. There is going to potentially be a strike. There will potentially be a new process into the CBA. Because with the additional 18th game, you're adding additional TV revenue, you're adding additional home revenue. Now, home revenue is not as much as people think. Home revenue for like tickets and everything else is not as much as you would think. Kevin Zeidler. I don't know. Someone's saying Kevin Zeidler signed with the Giants. I don't think he signed with the Giants. I'm looking right now. I don't see that Kevin Zeidler signed with the Giants. That must, maybe he did. Did he sign with the Giants? I don't think he did. Let's take a Google. Used to be let's take a gander. Now it's let's take a Google. But 18 games is coming. 18 games is rocketing down. No, he did not sign it. He did not sign a reunion, so that's fine. But it's coming. It's coming. It will literally be here before you know it. The question, Massey, that you should be asking is, when is there going to be a team overseas? We tried NFL Europe. Didn't really work out, but you can see the hunger for talent, for American football overseas. You can see it. You can see it. It's there. And so it's going to be coming down the pipe. Keyshawn says, I agree with what you're saying about OBD, but fam, can you do it as a franchise? They haven't been relevant in the last 15 years. Sometimes being relevant does not mean you have to resort to theatrics. And that's my thing with Odell Beckham. It's resorting to theatrics. It's diving back into the past to have a feel-good story. And these older players with these feel-good stories, they never work out. Let's be honest. They never work out. They always collapse and implode in the end. Because, you literally will have OBJ walking in. We went into the future. And I have film of OBJ walking in to the New York Giants locker room.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
That's going to be OBJ. Mike Lee said it best. Like I said in yesterday's video, 1-day contract so he can retire a Giant. I'm fine with that. You want to give him a 1-day contract so he can retire a Giant? Go right fucking ahead. I'm good with that. I am stellar with that. I am okay with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Also, I don't have problems with whatsoever. The mighty FanDuel, FanDuel.com, #1 sportsbook in America. We love FanDuel. I told FanDuel I'm going to just sing the commercial. Go to FanDuel. Go to the sportsbook, casino, predictions, fantasy, racings, research, TV, face off. Go to the sportsbook, and I'll stop singing if you go to the sportsbook. We've talked about it before. Get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days when you use your Bet Reset token. You sign up. After signing up, you get a token. You got 24 hours to use it. You bet on your wager. You toggle reset token. If you lose, you get up to a maximum of $300 back with a bet reset token. Refunds will be credited within 72 days of 72 hours. A bet settlement. Refunds will be issued on a non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Bet reset tokens expire 24 hours after receipt. They're making you play with their money. And then you know what you do? You go to the same day parlay. Get a 50% profit boost token to use on a 3-leg parlay, same game parlay plus wager on any MLB game taking place today. Go today. Get a 50% profit boost token to use on a 3-leg parlay, same game parlay plus wager on any MLB game taking place on April 1st, 2026. Do it now. Run out. Go download the app. We've said it before. If you have an Apple, you go to the App Store. If you have an Android, you go to whatever demonic place you go to get apps. It's FanDuel.com, the #1 sports book in America. And don't forget to game responsibly. What's up, BP? How many old past their prime players did the Knicks sign in the 8th? Oh, dear Lord. Why would you bring that up? I don't see Harbaugh doing that. OBJ had his time, but the injuries caught up to him. I love it because OBJ literally at one point in time. I mean, Harbaugh gave, you know what? We're gonna drop it in. Hopefully he's dapper today. We're gonna drop in a new spot. I'm calling it Spano on the spot. Oh, it's Big Joe. What's up, Big Joe?
I'm doing great, Timmy. What's going on, brother?
Just another fucking day.
Another day in paradise.
Another day above the dirt. So at this point in time, I'm fucking happy. Oh, I was talking about this. Omega brought it up because I never finished my thought. Hyatt or OBJ on the roster? I'm going Hyatt.
At least he's young. I mean, I know what's left of OBJ. Nothing. I mean, somebody said it perfect before. Sign a one-day contract, retire as a Giant.
That was Mike
He
Lee.
left here, got forced to trade to Cleveland, went to Cleveland, decided he didn't like it there. And then from there, it's been a variety of 1 year or part-year contracts. And outside of that run with the Rams, he hasn't helped anybody. He went to Miami. He wasn't featured as part of the offense. And he said, let me out of here. If you're not going to target me 10 times a game, I don't want to be here. So he's not going to come here and get targeted 10 times a game. So why bring him here? If he wants to retire here, great. Otherwise, I'd rather have Jalen Hyatt. He's at least young, and maybe somebody can figure out a way to use a Tennessee receiver in an NFL offense.
I love the fact that when you refer to Jalen Hyatt, and you're not the only one, people are like, well, he's young. I'm not sure that's a barometer of talent because because technically he's getting older, and we still haven't seen anything yet out of Jalen Hyatt. But to the point, I mean, we know what OBJ is. He didn't play at all last year. He suspended 6 games for PEDS. When he was in Miami, he didn't start. Even 2021 when he was with Harbaugh. Harbaugh kind of knew back then that he was probably washed up. And Harbaugh at the annual owners meeting didn't say, oh yeah, we want OBJ. He said, you know what, if it's someone we need to look at, we're going to look at them. He didn't say, oh my God, I want to bring in OBJ. Then one of the things, Joe, that really made me sad, I told the Victor Cruz story. I don't know if you heard that about Victor Cruz soliciting and I overheard the conversation, soliciting a job for Dave Gettleman after he flamed out and with the Bears. OBJ evidently was in the parking lot, not in the building, not in the owners meeting, not in the annual zone. He was in the parking lot in Arizona talking to Harbaugh.
Well, he was collecting cans around the neighborhood for the deposit. Then he said, you know what, let me stop by and see Harbs. Maybe he can give me a contract that can make a few bucks.
It reminds me of the scene in the movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg when he was Vince Papale. And Vince Papale meets Dick Vermeil in the parking lot as he's leaving. And it reminded me of that because it was kind of sad. And everyone knows I love Vince Papale. Me and Vince Papale are like this. I mean, we're bros. Except I'm not allowed to go into the Eagles VIP suites anymore because I kept calling him Rudy, and evidently he doesn't find that funny. That's why Vince Papale doesn't have. I said, well, no, it was for like 3 games straight. I would see him and go, first time he thought it was funny. Second time, I don't think so. The third game, yeah, security game. But it's one of those things with OBJ that you as a former player, I probably should have hung it up after the first ACL. But anyone that's played competitively, and you've been around many athletes, professional athletes, anyone that plays competitively, I don't want to pay with a broad stroke, but most of us think I got one good year left. I got one good season left. I got in my regards, I had one good play left. But you have this thought process that's all you've done. And that's what people don't get. You've been playing football since Pop Warner. You've been playing football since you were 10, 11 years old. At 33, you have already been playing for basically not in the pros, but you've been playing for 22 years. This is what you know. And I just think that OBJ is just not ready to face reality that he's no longer the player he was.
Yeah, that sums it up in a nutshell. Most of these guys don't go out on their own terms. Very few do. It's usually guys that went to Stanford who retire at 25 or Jim Brown. The rest of them go out when somebody carries them out on their sword or on their shield.
On their shield. Well, Phil Simms, when he went out, when he tore the thing in his shoulder in 93, but he was one of the very first Giant cap casualties in regards to when the salary cap came rolling around. So when he actually had we've talked to Matt Sims about this on the show, that Phil had the opportunity to go to Cleveland, and then he had another opportunity after a year away from the game to go again, go someplace else. But he just said, you know what, I'm done. Even though I got thrown out of the game after making the Pro Bowl, after leading the Giants to the playoffs under Dan Reeves' offense. That was a good story where he's just like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. I can retire on my accolades. I got my 2 Super Bowl rings, but I want to talk about not just OBJ, of course not. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about this a little bit. You keep hearing, Joe, everyone talk about the Giants in the playoffs.
Okay.
I think that is a fun thing to discuss in April because everyone's undefeated in April.
Sure. And we're all about fun here, right?
Not really. If I was having fun, I would be fucking sitting here. I'd be outside where it's like 75 degrees.
You missed the good part of the day. It's getting crappy. It's about to rain. It's getting dark.
Yeah, I know it. I know it is. But it's fun to talk about the playoffs. And I've come up with 5 reasons. Forget to turn off the ads. Fuck. All right, hold on. Joe, entertain everyone because I got to turn off the ads.
Okay. Well, he's got a 5-point plan on making the playoffs. And in today's NFL, it's feasible. Think about it.
Well, no, it's not a 5-point plan. It's 5 reasons.
5 reasons. Okay, you got 5 reasons why they can make the playoffs. Well, 45% of the teams in the league make the playoffs, and 2 out of 3 teams that made the playoffs last year don't make the playoffs the next year. So that right there says, why not the Giants?
Well, there's a reason.
Okay.
Lack of talent.
that could be part of it too.
I mean, coaching. I think the Giants buttoned it up with coaching. I'm going to give you reason number 1. And I've reason number 1. I mean, five reasons. Reason number 1: coaching. The Giants have finally kind of figured out that this organization's been stuck in a mire. That there's fungus growing on their shower shoes, and they finally brought in the disinfectant by going out and getting a professional head coach with a resume. It's always like when we wanted to get Bill Cowher when he retired after years and years following. So we finally got a guy that's put together a resume, put together a coaching staff, and I think it's put together an organizational approach. And I love to listen to him at the annual meeting because he just speaks so eloquently about football. That is John Harbaugh. But to me, coaching can automatically give you a 2 to 3 win advantage. So a 5-win team could potentially be a 7 to an 8-win team. A 6-win team could be a 8 to 9-win team.
Right.
So the Giants, who were in a lot of games last year that potentially should have won some games that they didn't, they lost some games that they should have won. But you take a look at it and say, okay, if coaching can give you 2 to 3 additional wins, and this was a 6-win team coming in, you're a 9-win team in the East. Anything can fucking happen.
That's fair. So it's 1.
You're supposed to rebut a little here.
No. Rebut? How do I rebut that? That one's perfectly logical. It's coaching. If you're a 6-win team, you're an 8 or 9-win team. If you're a 5-win team, you're a 7 or 8-win team. Half the teams make the playoffs. If you can be about 500, you got a chance to make the playoffs. So reason number 1 is not really rebuttable. You've got coaches. There's no rebuttal to the fact that they've buttoned up coaching here. So that one we can't argue with. That's reason 1 why they could make the playoffs. Can't argue with that in any way, shape, or form.
All right. Well, I like that. And because Mike Lee screwed it up for everybody, you know what we're going to have to do, Mike, because I turned off the commercials. We're going to have to talk about ZipRecruiter. Talk about someone you hired, and they're not only, and it was not only qualified, but generally interested in your role, your open role, and how to influence your decision to hire him. There's a lot of ways to do that. Joe Shane, we should have got rid of his ass, but we found a guy that were eager. He wanted to be here. He knew that's in John Harbaugh. that he wanted to work for the Giants. And you know what I love about John Harbaugh? He was the perfect fit. If you are hiring, you want candidates that are passionate about your role, you can get the insight from your resume, unless you post your job on ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. I'm going to say it again for the cheap seats. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, we've said it before, it's fucking Skynet. I don't know their technology. I don't know how it works, but they have this powerful matchmaking technology. Find you qualified candidates quickly. Candidates can tell you in their own words why they're interested in your job. ZipRecruiter, of course, is #1 rated hiring site based on G2. 4 out of 5 employers who post with ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Meet your match with the ZipRecruiter. We love ZipRecruiter because of the fact that they do. They find the people that are right for you. Point number 2. The Giants play in the NFC East. This division for a year has been so fucked up. This division has not had consecutive division winners or champions for years. It's always someone wins, somebody wins, someone wins, somebody wins, somebody wins, somebody wins. You take a look at it. You don't know what Jaden Daniels is going to be. You don't know what he's going to come back and do. You have no fucking clue. You have no clue what Washington did in regards to what their. I mean, I like Dan Quinn, but if you take a look at his philosophy, Dan Quinn, if you go back to parts of his career, kind of starts sputtering out in year 3 and 4. Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys, and let's be perfectly honest, the Philadelphia Eagles are not the Eagles that they were 2 years ago. They're not the same simpatico relationship in reference to the quarterback and the receivers and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley is a year older. The offensive line is not as good as it used to be. If you take a look at potentially all those 3 teams could take a step back in the division, which means the Giants will pick up divisional wins, which means they win the division maybe with 9 to 10 wins.
Are you looking for me to rebut this? Because I can't argue with the fact that they play in the NFC East.
But you can rebut the other portions.
Yeah, but the points are so well thought out, it's going to be a little difficult. I mean, we're reading the stories today about Jalen Hurts is not a great teammate, and his teammates are noticing. And basically, there was some article somewhere that basically alleges that Jalen Hurts is a whiny SOB, and his teammates are growing tired of his act. That happens when you're not winning all the time. You know, the legendary offensive line coach, he's no longer there. That running game and that line will continue to take a step back. So the Eagles will probably win the division by default, but they're a 10-7, 11-6 division winner, not a 14-3 division winner. So you pick up some wins there. As you said, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. New defensive coordinator number 87. Probably same results, bottom tier defense. Good offense, bottom tier defense, 500 team. The Commanders, new coordinators on both sides of the ball, coming off a down year. They've added some pieces. They're kind of like us. They're battling for maybe a playoff spot. So the fact that the division isn't great puts us in a position to be about 500 in the division. Steal a few games out of division. There you are. You don't have an E next to your name in the standings before Thanksgiving. And that's the goal. So no argument there. We could make the playoffs based on the division. Hard to argue.
Number 3. And this one's going to be controversial.
Oh, good. Maybe something we can actually disagree on, because people want us to disagree.
You know what the best part of this is? I'm making this shit up as I go along.
Good. I like lack of prep.
There was no thought process, but I had to think about this. Matt Nagy.
Okay.
Matt Nagy, year 1, everywhere he has gone recently, going back to the Bears, first season has always been a success. It's the system that he runs. We've talked about it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get into it again, but it's the system that he runs. 12-4, made the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky. We all know what happens, but people forget Matt Nagy then went back in February of 2022 and became the senior assistant and quarterback coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. What did they do back in 2022 after the return of Matt Nagy, which Andy Reid called the most logical answer for his offense? First season back, they win the Super Bowl. Think about that. And then what happens? He's promoted to offensive coordinator 22 and 23.
Mhm.
Helped them again win the Super Bowl by defeating the 49ers. Matt Nagy has this aura in regards to, if you even go back to the original Kansas City Chiefs days, we're not going to go that far back, but he has this aura in the first season and two when he is with an organization that he has become successful, that he takes his system. And of course the system was run the last few years by Patrick Mahomes, but he ran a system with a guy in Mitchell Trubisky who we all assume Jackson Dart is better than. And the system that Matt Nagy runs is, if we look at it and we look at it objectively, is tailored for Jackson Dart's skill set. And I'm not even a Jackson Dart fan, but I think Jackson Dart can put up numbers in the Nagy system if the offensive line holds out.
I'll rebut here a little bit, but I kind of agree with you because this is an offshoot of number one. It's about coaching. But let's say, for argument's sake, that this great offensive staff that we have assembled, let's say it ends up being too many cooks spoil the broth and it doesn't necessarily work out because you got too many chefs in the kitchen. Let's say that hurts Dart's progress and maybe there's a sophomore slump. That could happen. I don't see it happening, but maybe that happens. Or maybe because the previous regime was so fixated on stealing a couple of wins last season that they didn't actually help Dart progress. They basically ran a slightly NFL modified version of his Ole Miss offense.
Oh, 100%. They ran an offshoot of the Ole Miss offense.
Right.
Dable even came out and said, we asked Jackson Dart what plays you are from your Ole Miss day that you are comfortable running.
So now that's not going to happen here. He's going to be under center more, much more. I'm not saying he's going to be under center all the time, but he's going to be under center more. We know that. So there could be adjustments to being under center more. There's the theory that the Matt Nagy offense will want Jackson Dart to lead with the opposite foot as far as the drop back stuff, the left foot versus right foot quarterback, Tim. And I don't know if you ever went into that on the stream, but there's things like that where, in theory, we believe Jackson Dart will take off from year one to year two, but there's some issues maybe here with some of the things that they're going to try and put in place that may not allow Jackson Dart to take off in year two, and it might not happen until year three. I don't necessarily believe it, but that could be something that kind of blows a hole in point number three.
It's not that I'm not a Jackson. Well, listen, it's wrong. I mean, you're not a Jackson Dart fan. It's not that. What's a better way to put it? I am not a Jackson Dart enthusiast. I think that's a better way to put it. Not saying that I'm not a fan, because you want anyone that's the quarterback of the Giants to be successful, because that means the Giants are going to make the playoffs. That means the Giants are going to potentially go to the Super Bowl. Jackson Dart, to me, I think they should have stuck with the plan. And the plan always was, in the beginning, not really to play Jackson Dart last year. To let him sit, let him learn under the tutelage of Russell Wilson and somewhat Jameis Winston, and build him into a starter for this year. And to Joe's point, we've talked about this on the stream many times. The Giants did such a disservice to Jackson Dart last year. They didn't work on making him an NFL quarterback. They made him into a quarterback who could win NFL games for a short period of time because they were trying to save their job. It's kind of the same thing that Pat Shurmur did. Pat Shurmur did not do Daniel Jones any favors. Yes, Daniel Jones had success that first season, but he was so up and down. And the reason and the rationale was Pat Shurmur figured out, you know what? I got a guy that's kind of Rick Meyer-esque. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the field in half, give him an option to throw to, give him a spot to throw to. The second option is to run. And the third option usually is he's going to throw an interception or he's going to throw an incompletion. And I'm just going to do it on one half of the field. Jackson Dart, to Joe's point, was running an offshoot of the Ole Miss offense. So they weren't building him into an NFL quarterback. That's why with Matt Nagy, the edict this year is the edict is always to win games, but this year, Joe, the edict isn't so much that you know, John Harbaugh, you have to win 14 games. If they win 7, I think ownership will think that's a success. But as long as they're doing it by building a process, building a winner, it's going to take one step at a time. And that's why it's probably a bad way to say that I'm not a fan of Jackson Dart. I just don't fully see the NFL quarterback capability when I can see with my own eyes that when he throws over 10 yards, it's a crapshoot. And I'm not, and we've shown the charts on this show a million times, Joe. I mean, it gets there. There were like I said, Jackson Dart threw 2 hospital balls, one to Malik Neighbors, which tore an ACL, and one to Cam Scatterbo. He took out 2 of his best offensive weapons because of poor ball placement and underthrowing a pass on a free play on a clean pocket that he was only throwing about 35, 40 yards when he should have put the ball at least 5 yards ahead of OBJ, which he would not have had to jump up there. Clean pocket, throws, and he throws it short. OBJ's got to come back and work through the work through the defender, jump back into the air, and he tears his ACL in the air. He tore his ACL before he even landed on the ground. You can literally see it. He throws the ball either 5 yards ahead and more towards the out of bounds. OBJ's still playing. Cam Scatterbo, he throws it on the inside shoulder instead of on the outside shoulder. Cam Scatterbo doesn't get his ankle wrecked. So he has to work on ball placement and he has to work on the ability to become an NFL quarterback. And like we said, the Eagles showed the league the way. Brian Flores showed the league the way. It's not difficult to figure out how to beat Jackson Dart. Keep him in the pocket. You don't need to collapse the pocket. Just don't let him outside the pocket. Make him throw from the pocket. Make him be an NFL quarterback.
I mean, I'll be straight with you, Tim. Before the draft last year, I wasn't a big Jackson Dart fan. I'm generally not a fan of Ole Miss quarterbacks under Lane Kiffin or Lane Kiffin quarterbacks and their transition to the NFL. That's a college offense that does not do a good job of preparing you to play in the NFL. Very much the way the Tennessee offense doesn't prepare wide receivers to play in the NFL because of the way it's schemed. So I wasn't thrilled going into the draft. I wasn't thrilled. Oh, Jackson Dart, I love this. I love this. I wasn't thrilled about it because I thought there was a lot of holes in his game. He exceeded my expectations last season. A lot of it was because of the way they schemed things out for him. And I think it's incumbent upon this coaching staff, and this is where Brian Callahan comes in, they're going to have to clean up that footwork in a major way. And if they clean up his footwork in a major way, the hope and expectation is he now becomes a much better long ball thrower and his accuracy improves. And if it does, that could go a long way to, fortifying and building upon the success that he had last year and establishing him as a top-tier quarterback. If they can't improve that footwork and he doesn't build upon what he did last year within the confines of an NFL offense that you can win with, well, Jackson Dart's going to take a step back next year, and he'll continue to take steps back, much in the way Daniel Jones did.
You're right and wrong about this, Eco. A hospital ball, yes, is leaving someone in contact, but a hospital ball can also be considered leaving a player in a vulnerable position. When you have to, if you watch the video, if Malik Neighbors doesn't stutter, stop, hand check the defender, and then jump and runs in stride, what happens? He either catches a touchdown or the balls are thrown out of bounds. He threw Cam Scatterboot into contact. He threw the ball on the inside shoulder into contact. He throws it on the on the outside shoulder of Cam Scatterboot. We're not having this conversation. But Cam Scatterboot had to stop and come back and contort his body, which then, per your point, he threw him into contact. And no jump ball in the NFL is a normal jump ball. Not whatsoever. I mean, I've seen players get hurt on the stupidest plays because it's just the NFL. But if you literally watch this guy stop, start, and then hand check his through with the defender and then leap, he doesn't need to do that if you throw the ball 5 yards ahead of the wide receiver. There's no contact. There's no stutter step. There's nothing. That's a hospital ball.
And let us remember the Jackson Dart accuracy issues on the deep ball, they're not new to him. If you look at his college numbers and go look at a college chart, the overall numbers may actually not look that bad because he had success on the deep ball when they played, St. Mary's School for the Blind. You throw it out there. If it's anywhere near, guy will run back and go get it. When he played against SEC competition.
Wait, one second, Joe.
Okay.
One second. We've talked about this. Jackson Dart's completion percentage and off target percentage in the fourth quarter in college dropped from the first three quarters going back to his days at USC. He had a 14.6 off target percentage in the fourth quarter. He was under 60% completion percentage in the fourth quarter. You could literally watch him in Ole Miss. His completion percentage from the first to the second to the third to the fourth quarter did this, and this is all statistically proven. Mm-hmm. We've read the scouting reports, and this is something that is. I don't want people to be like, well, we're picking on Jackson Dart. No, this is facts. Right. This is statistically proven facts. And Jackson Dart's completion percentage in the fourth quarter in the pros did the same thing.
Right. I mean, there was holes in his resume. It's why he was picked 25th, I believe, instead of first. There were holes in his resume coming in. We all want him to succeed. Based on what we watched last year, we think that there's the tools there that with the right coaching and surrounded by talent that he can succeed. And, if Jalen Hurts winning Super Bowls has proven anything, you can win the Super Bowl with a good but not elite quarterback if everything else falls into place. So the realities are we all want Jackson Dart to succeed, but he is far from a flawless prospect. And last year, while he showed you some great things, the coaching staff in their zeal and desperation for wins did him a disservice by not grooming him and not putting him in a position to grow. So this year is the first year where you're going to see actual growth and you're going to see development because nothing was done last year to foster development.
Number 4 on my list. Number 4, the defense. Make sure you're hitting the like button, guys. The defense. And just by the law of averages, with a new defensive coordinator, with a new scheme, with a new system, with a new ability to potentially go a different direction after the Shane Bowen disaster, the defense, just by logic, has to be better than last year. Just by logic, the defense has to maybe go from giving up 5 yards a carry to 4 yards a carry. John Harbaugh said it best yesterday that the defense last year was atrocious against the run, and that needs to be fixed. And I love the one we had Carl Banks on the first time because Carl Banks, and that was the second time, he basically said, and I always love the quote, you have to earn the right to rush the passer. And the way you earn that right is to play the run. So I think with John Harbaugh coming in here with a singular focus at times and probably giving an edict to Denard Wilson to play the run, you have to assume that the run defense is going to improve, which then in turn should help the pass defense, which then in turn should help the rush, which then again should limit the amount of points that the New York Giants give up.
Point 4 is hard to argue with because I could find a a defensive coordinator over at Pop Warner better than Shane Bowen. So the realities are the coaching upgrade automatically probably makes the baseline better. Plus, you saw by the end of the season, a lot of those defensive players, a lot of players all over that field weren't engaged. They knew that they might be here longer than the coaching staff was going to be here. So that's not the case anymore. This coaching staff.
Wait, I got to get to this one. The leak ball, if Scat didn't whiff on the block, Dart wouldn't have to throw. Okay, I always love, let's all watch again. Okay, clean pocket. I mean, literally, go back. Clean pocket. There's literally a clean pocket. No, there was no whiff. He had the time to throw. It was a clean pocket. He had nobody in his face. And if you even at the NFL level, you should be able to throw the ball 35 yards with accuracy. Sorry, Joe.
Tim, that's what this is, a give and take. It's your baby. Comments come in, you take them. But I guess you'd agree. I mean, you made the point that they'll be better, but you'll agree that players on that defense, a lot of them, you saw them out there, they weren't engaged, and they played with this mindset, well, I'll be back next year, but those guys won't. Well, that's going to change because the new coaching staff, they're in place. They'll be back next year. You might not be. So just that level of urgency and how you'll have to play in order to keep an NFL job, that with better coaching, that urgency, that alone, regardless of personnel improvements, should make the baseline of this defense better. So it's really hard to argue with that point because a lot of these points, 1 through 4, really all dive back into one place. And it's improved coaching. It's buttoning up the coaching. The fact, and you've talked about it a lot on these streams, the Giants will win 2 more games with this talent than they would have with 2 to 3 more games with this talent than they would have with last year's coaching staff because of this year's coaching staff. And that's kind of what this boils down to. And with that team and with this talent, 2 to 3 more wins than with the previous coaching staff make you a contender for the playoffs.
Slider, you are right. Slider did say it many times before Carl Banks came on that you have to earn the right to rush the passer. And I want to get to a couple other where was I want to get? Let's see here. I want to get to BP, but there's a lot of other questions I want to get to here. A receiver should not have to stop or come back to a deep ball. At worst, he should be overthrown. A jump ball should be his running motion or on the outside away from the defender. Yes, a smart quarterback with a clean pocket on a free play, and you were throwing to that sideline, you should be throwing. Technically, you're going to be throwing it kind of over, but you're going to be throwing it hopefully to the inside of the wide receiver, not on the outside. And you are going to throw it at least 5 yards in front of the wide receiver, especially with someone like Malik Neighbors' speed, where he can accelerate towards the ball and catch it that way in motion, in stride. To BP's point, you should not stop, contort, come back, hand check, and then still try to come back for the ball.
No, throw him towards the open grass.
Yeah.
There's a ton of open grass. Throw him towards the open grass and let him run under it. You're not 44-year-old Phillip Rivers who can't get the ball out there. You're 20-something-year-old Jackson Dart. Ball's got to be there. It was a bad throw, and it was a clean pocket. There really wasn't much time to get to him. The minute his back foot hit, that ball went out. That ball came out fast. Blocking was fine. There are no excuses. It was a bad throw. It was a bad throw that helped lead to Malik Neighbors' injury. There's no way. There's no two ways about it.
And I understand people don't want to talk about that because it's Malik Neighbors. You're like, well, I don't want to talk about the fact that we threw Malik Neighbors into a situation where he got hurt, and I can understand that. I can understand that as a Giant fan. I get that. Number 5.
Ooh, we made it to the end of that part. Of the
probably the biggest reason, Joe.
Okay.
This is probably, and there's going to be no refuting this. I can tell you this right now. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this since
4:15.
447. I'm thinking about this since 447.
All right.
I am a season ticket holder. So for the love of God, make the fucking playoffs. I'm tired of my tickets not being worth anything. I'm tired of never getting you can't. I'm tired of never getting an opportunity to go to a playoff game. And the one time I do go to one time we do make the playoffs, we don't even get a home playoff game. I don't remember the last time there was a home playoff game in MetLife. For the love of God,
long time.
It's been time to literally make the freaking playoffs. That's what I'm thinking. That has to be Dan Wolf. What's up, Dan Wolf? Uh-oh. You're thinking. Dan, how's it going, man? I haven't seen Dan Wolf in a long time. I haven't seen a lot of people in a long time. This is the slow season, Joe. This is the silly season.
Well, we're going to pick up the steam here. Let's give them something to talk about. Let's keep them coming back each and every day. Well, each and every day that you're here.
But according to the analytics and according to the YouTube analytics and Google analytics and all of that, the segment of Giant fans just aren't on right now. So, but like I said, you got to build content, and I got to get the podcast and shit going here. So this is an easy way to do two things at once. I'm not going to lie to you. Dan's been busy. Well, Dan, that's no fucking excuse.
Just been busy is all. Okay.
Busy, that's not just busy is all. That's no fucking excuse. I'm busy. I'm here every day. Joe's busy.
I'm busy, and I'm here too. And Dan, you got to do what every other American does. Fuck off at work and listen to the show.
Well, I gotta say that's what a lot of people do. I like when people tell me, you know what, I like your show because it kills the last hour of the day.
Yeah.
So, Tim, who do you have in the March Madness? I got Michigan winning it all. You know, it's funny. I had UConn, and if you look at my first bracket, I had UConn. I still have UConn. So I guess I'm gonna have to stay with that. Because
I would. I think you're in a great position to cash, Tim.
I think I am, but I got UConn right now. Mike Lee says you will take your free medium Pepsi and like it.
Tim, I got good news for you. And this is going to make you very happy as a long-time season ticket holder. You're going to love this. Because the Giants aren't going to have that E next to their name in November, and they're going to be playing meaningful games in December, you're going to get to send the Giants a check for possible playoff tickets. Now, they'll cash the check. You may never get any playoff tickets, but they'll cash the check, and you can wait forever for your refund or get that letter. Would you just like us to apply it to next year's season tickets? Because they've been doing that to us for decades. They always get that check.
Well, the good news is everything's done by credit card.
Yeah. I'm going back a few years.
You're going back a few years, and they haven't done the check thing for the playoffs in years. In years, because I have yet to get a statement for outside of the Daniel Jones one run. I have yet to get anything asking me for playoff money. So I'm going back in time when I used to have season tickets. When they went to the new building, I got salted and gave up my tickets. I was like, you're probably going back to the Meadowlands days.
That's it. That's when I gave up my tickets. But I used to have to write that check.
I'm getting a little concerned about the Giants and the draft party because it's April 1st. The draft party is the 23rd. They haven't had the town hall 2 years in a row now. So I'm wondering if they're going to have a town hall this year for season ticket holders, and if they're going to have the draft party, because it's getting a little late. And last time I check my emails all the time. I've yet to see anything in regards to the draft party. So I'm getting a little concerned. This is why I kept telling people, I kind of keep thinking that the Giants were having some financial situations, some financial issues, which is why I think they sold 10% of the team. But I'm getting a little concerned, Joe, that I'm not going to a draft party that doesn't exist.
Well, I'm guessing no draft party and they'll use the excuse of the construction in the building. It's construction all over the building, World Cup, we're fixing a new dining room, new weight room, this and that, no draft party.
But they have the draft party in the stadium.
Like I said, but they're using all the excuses, getting ready for World Cup and all the other stuff going on. That's going to be the excuse. No draft party and no town hall because too many hard questions get asked and nobody wants to answer hard questions.
I will tell you this. There was only one idiot that asked a hard question at the town hall.
I wonder who it is.
I don't know.
Can we proffer a guess? When you look in the mirror, do you see his reflection?
I do see him. No, because I'm a vampire. So I don't see a reflection. But there was one hard question asked at any time. I have been to so many town halls, and I love it because I've told the story before. I went with James Williams, and we get up to the microphones, and Daniel Jones, Kayvon Thibodeau, and you had everyone up there, and you have to tell the moderator what your question is and who you want to ask the question to. So I get up there. James is ahead of me, and I tell James, I said, I'm going to lie and say I'm going to ask a Kayvon Thibodeau question. So what does my brother James do? He tells the moderator, well, I'm going to ask a Kayvon Thibodeau question. I'm like, well, fuck. Now I'm not going to want to have two Kayvon questions in a row. I'm not going to ask my Daniel Jones question. So the lady goes to me, who you want to ask a question? I said, I went blank for a second. I said, Kayvon Thibodeau. And she goes, okay, well, we don't usually do this, but we're going to let you go right after James. So James asks this question. And so I get up to the mic and I see Daniel Jones there, and the lady's holding the microphone. And I go, this question's for Daniel Jones. And I look down, and James got this on film. The lady's just doing this. Because I had a feeling she knew initially that I was going to ask a stupid question. So it wasn't even a stupid question. I asked the question. I get back to the seat, and I love my brother James because James looks at me and goes, you're such an asshole. He goes, how the fuck did you get booed at a giant town hall asking a giant question? So I've said it before, and this is one that people need to understand. I am the only giant content creator, Joe, who got booed on Broadway.
Well, you know what, Tim? Keep being you. Keep being different than everybody else, and this thing's going to keep taking off because you don't want to do this like everybody else does. Your job here as a content creator is not just to wave pom-poms. Giants are great, Giants are great, Giants are great. And then when they suck, I'm so tired of covering a team that sucks and boo-hoo, and hopefully we'll be good next year. And I've covered teams that suck, and there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse in this business than you got that weekly spot with that player or that coach, and that's like a 3-win team. It's a nightmare. But you do it because, well, you do it. But I like your approach. You're an honest Giant fan. You're doing Giant content, but you're doing it honestly. If they suck, you tell us they suck. You tell us why they suck, and then you propose ways to fix it. It's not waving pom-poms and then getting all depressed when they stink and not being able to figure out what to talk about. And then next year they'll automatically be great again.
Oh, I always have stuff. Dom, it's Dom Larson. Actually, he's exactly right. Tim is different, and I'm here for it. Dom, can you jump on? I don't know what time it is in the UK, and if it's late, you're probably drunk.
It's 10:15.
It's 10:15 in the UK. I knew what time it was, Joe. I pretend to be stupid.
Oh,
that's like when I tell people I can't do math. I'm actually really smart.
Does your calculator have a 7?
Yes, my calculator does have a 7, and I have an abacus. Mike Lee says, Tim ruined the town hall for everyone. They are professionals. They should not only expect, but be able to handle tough questions. When you say, and I love Art Dom says, when you say, texting me, when you say if we suck, which leads to the question, when didn't we suck?
That's what she said.
There were times where we didn't.
There were times years ago that we didn't. I love Slider said, Tim ruined it. My ass, he did. Too many people are sensitive. Yeah, we've already talked about the sensitivity of the, and Mike Lee says, because all part of the pussification on the Society Today's. What was the question? Online Big Blue? I don't know what was the question. Dan, I don't know what questions are. I just ramble. I don't know. Was there a question?
No, we were discussing your five reasons why the Giants could make the playoffs.
I gave you my 5 reasons.
Yeah, we went through that, and then we rambled on about some other stuff, and here we are.
Then we rambled out. Big Dom, where are you, Big Dom? Big Dom, where are you? I'm going to put the link in the chat, Big Dom, real quick here. I don't know how to do it. Push that button. Yes, I love when people are like, Tim has a sock puppet account or a burner
There you
account. I can't get the fucking internet to work. How the hell am I going to
Right.
work multiple accounts? I still haven't figured out how to turn the damn ads off.
Right. So all of a sudden you can't turn ads off, but you can have 34 burner accounts.
My question, thank you. My wife was like, I love you, but you are not the most technically savvy person. So she's like, I can't see that. My Daniel Jones question, I have to find the video. I asked Daniel Jones, I said, and I'll paraphrase. I asked Daniel Jones, I said, some will say that you had a renaissance with 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns last year, leading the Giants to the playoffs. How can you continue the success that you, and I used the word allegedly, had that year into the next season and help the Giants make the playoffs twice in a row? Joe, I swear to God, and there's video of this, he grabs his stomach and chest like this and starts doing this as he's answering the question.
Jesus. It's better than the question I was going to ask him.
I told James when I got back to the seat after he cursed him, I said, we are so fucked.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if he can't handle that softball question after signing a big contract, what the hell is going to happen the next year?
My question for him was, how does somebody who goes to Duke, which is a school full of great thinkers, so bad at processing information post-snap? That's my question. He was fine pre-snap. The guy could not process post-snap information to save his life. And he just, well, this is where I'm supposed to go with the ball, so I'll stare at it and I'll just throw it there and everybody will meet at the football.
Dom says, early half of last decade, beginning of the last, early start tomorrow, so need to go to bed, I'm afraid. Well, Dom, it's only 10:15, and if it was daylight savings time, then it's only 9:15, and if it's the other one, then it's 11:15. So if you take that and equal it out, then it's only 7 o'clock at night there. Yes.
Okay. And you can do math. I don't know what kind of math that is, but you can do math.
I have not only a degree, I have multitudes of degrees.
I got fingers and I tried using them. It didn't work.
Let's see. Dan says, speaking of Jones, do you think he'll be able to recover from the injuries and be good again? Well, when was he ever good? Or will he continue his downward spiral when he got hurt? Dan, here's the thing about Daniel Jones last year in Indianapolis. He had moments, but he relied on Jonathan Taylor. That offense was built around, for all the success that Daniel Jones had, he had Jonathan Taylor, who at that point in time was having a massive season. It wasn't until the team started to key more on Taylor and put the onus on Daniel Jones did we then see Indianapolis start losing. And this was before the injury, before the Daniel Jones's injury. So it's the same thing with his playoff season here. He goes 7-2 when Barkley is stellar. They go 2-5-1 when teams all of a sudden say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to focus on Saquon Barkley. Fuck Daniel Jones. We're going to let him do what he does. And what he did was 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. So it's when teams start saying, you know what, if Daniel Jones beats us, so be it. In those games that Daniel Jones won, that 8-0 start or whatever it was, how many multiple touchdown games did Jonathan Taylor have? That's what I always tell people to go back and look at, Joe.
You know, it led me to think of a question, and I was going to ask it. Shane Steichen's an offensive genius.
Hold on a second. It's the Dahmer.
Oh, geez.
All the way from the UK.
Cheers, mate.
Dom is going to be running. First of all, that's not a British accent. It's hello, love. Throw another shrimp on the barbie. But
it's better than my British accent.
Yeah, it truly is. Dom is going to be running the live stream on draft day. I talked to him about it a couple days ago. Dom has now run the draft stream, 3 years in a row?
4, I reckon.
4 years in a row now. So we will broadcast again live from the stadium. The last couple of years, we've called the Giants pick inside the Giant locker room. So we're probably going to do that again this year. And we want to give a big round of applause for the Dahmer for once again, because it's late.
About 2 a.m. Yeah.
And last year, which was funny though, because I went out drinking with Big L after the pick. And every once in a while I'm watching, I'm getting on my phone. I'm like, these motherfuckers are still on. It's like, I thought you guys carried out through almost the entire, I think, or did you go through the entire first round?
We got the entire first round in.
Yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm going to switch my laptop very shortly, but it's just firing up. It takes a while.
No worries. No worries. That's a good technical question. So, Dom, we got Joe here. We're talking about the 5 reasons the Giants are going to make the playoffs, could potentially make the playoffs. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm insane?
I don't expect it. I think, this team will be better. If you look... You talk a lot about the sort of the shape of the football the way it is because of the way the bounce goes. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. I think the Giants are due a little bit of a bounce. I think the coaching staff is going to be better. I think that will make a big difference. We lost some games, 2-3 games last year through dumb calls in the fourth quarter. You think that, maybe you lose one of them, but you don't lose them all. That's a couple of wins automatically. A better coach team, I think, wins another couple. Suddenly you're in the realms of, 8 wins or so. You get a bit of momentum, which, unless you're Joe Judge, I think is a real thing. He's the only man that doesn't. And suddenly you can take that momentum to 9, 10, 11 wins, and suddenly that is playoff talk, right? I don't expect us to make the playoffs because I think we've got a lot of rebuilding to do. I think this team has a lot of work to do to get to where it needs to be, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I just wouldn't be running to the bank and putting the house on it.
If you did run to the bank and put the house on it, where would you go to place that bet?
The homeless shelter.
I know the answer.
Joe, where would you go to place that bet?
The mighty FanDuel.
The number 1 sports book in America. Don't forget to game responsibly. How many games did Jonathan Taylor win without Daniel Jones? Well, that's not even a really good question because of the fact that when Daniel Jones goes out and you basically go and get a quarterback that's only maybe a month younger than me, will be nice. That's been on the couch for 3 years. And let's be honest, the reason and the rationale that Phillip Rivers came back. Can we just talk? What has he got? 6 kids? I think he's got 6 kids. When you leave the NFL, you have a window of time. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 years where the NFL pays for your health care for you and your family. Phillip Rivers' health care and he talked about this, was expiring within weeks of him coming back. So once he came back and played, his health care re-upped for the next 4 years. So let's not think that Phillip Rivers was like, I think I could play this phenomenal game and do everything that we need to do. He did it to get health care for his kids.
So does that mean we'll see him back in a uniform again at 49?
Probably.
Presumably at 49, he'd be in San Francisco, right?
I was going to say,
that's good.
He might potentially be.
It's funny. Somebody brought up the point of how many games did Jonathan Taylor win without Daniel Jones, and it kind of leads me, based on what you were talking about, Tim, with Daniel Jones. I think we all agree Shane Steichen's an offensive genius. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And he did a great job of designing an offense, thanks to having Jonathan Taylor, to suit what Daniel Jones can do. They're going to bring back Daniel Jones, obviously, and they expect him to be their quarterback, at least in the reasonable short term. Do you think winning with Daniel Jones at quarterback is sustainable for the Colts?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to get that in there.
No. Oh, and I was getting to my point about Daniel Jones. Oh, you know what? We got another guest.
Wow.
It's Dom from Arsenal Domination. We have Dominic Palmer, and we now have Dom from Arsenal Domination here at the same time as well.
In duplicate, right? Hopefully I'll be leaving. There we go. By the other one, I should be dropping off.
I think I don't want to say anything, but your twin brother's better looking. I just want to throw that. I just want to throw that out, Dom. Your twin brother.
My twin brother is actually 6'1",
and you know what? He seems to know a lot more. I just want to, but we're gonna take out Dom's twin brother.
Do you know what? In all seriousness, my twin brother is 6'1" and is a Bears fan. So you know.
Mike,
no, I'm not joking. He really is.
Really? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, Dom. Mike Lee says, Dom, you need to practice your sponsors' promos.
Yeah, but my joke was funnier.
Yeah, but your joke doesn't pay me. I'm just.
I'm not here for that. I'm not here to support you. I'm here to mock you.
Well, you could do that on the. You could do that on the phone like you do all day long.
That's cold, man.
Oh no, when you reach a certain level of my friendship, and Dom will tell you, when you reach a certain level, yeah, that's all bets are off. All bets are off. I mean,
fair enough.
I literally, like I told the story a million times, Dom flew in from the UK to come to his first Giant game at the stadium. So he flew in. And I said, you know what, you could just stay at my house. We'll go to the game. We'll go a game with a bunch of people. It'll be a lot of fun. He gets to go out into the field. He got to do all that fun stuff. So I pick him up at the Philadelphia airport, get him in the car. We're driving, and we're getting to the toll booth. And the toll booth's having an issue taking credit cards, not my credit card, just credit cards in general. And every Dom? Every 10, 15 seconds, I hear beep, 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 beep.
Okay.
Beep. And I look at Dom and I go, what the fuck is that? He goes, it's my watch. It's my sports watch. My
I have a habit of folding my arms. And where I fold my arms, I caught the bloody watch.
So every time it would do this. So now I got the guy not being able to figure out how to open the fucking gate. I got this beeping over here, and I look. He does it again. I look at Dom and I say, if that fucking watch goes off one more time, I'm throwing you out the goddamn window. And I love it because Dom has now been in America for an hour. And I've already threatened to throw him out of the car in the middle of Philadelphia.
Gotta love it. I mean, I was going to guess it was his ankle bracelet going off, but yeah.
Well, I am dressed like I am dressed in this jumper like I'm in HMS HMP Belmarsh.
Show the picture of Dom dressed up as a football
some kind
player.
of UK penitentiary.
I don't think I have that picture anymore of you, Dom. You literally just sent me the picture of you dressed up as a football player.
I sent it to you. I sent it to you a couple of days ago.
I got it. So
yeah,
this
because
I love this.
Nice.
This was Big Don wearing my college shoulder pads, a game-worn jersey, and an autographed Phil Simms helmet.
Okay.
To this day, I still cringe at that. But my favorite, that's I don't know, man. I don't know.
Don't smudge nothing.
And then we say, we always love, how short is Dom? Dom is literally standing on the rail to be this short. That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite picture of this day. There's that rail on the sidelines, and Dom is standing on the 6-inch.
Maybe he's related to Wandale Robinson.
Oh, did you? Dom,
I made Wandale look like a giant, which ironically he no longer is.
2 in a row for Dom.
Wandale's 6 feet tall now. He stands on his wallet.
I was gonna say,
is that a college 6 foot tall?
He's got.
No, he stands on his wallet.
Yeah,
it is gonna be college 6 feet tall. Oh my god! All right, Dom, what do you? I have to go out to dinner.
Oh, look at you, la-di-da.
I know. Well, it's spring break. It's spring break here, so the kid is off. So we're gonna take him out to go do some fun stuff. So we're gonna leave early today. But Dom, I was glad that you were able to come on. Do you have any thoughts about the Giants going into the draft?
Nah, you're right.
Dominant, hard hitting, reporting analysis there. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think with so many holes in this team, I think you kind of look to trade down unless someone unexpected falls. I'd like to see us. I know our offense isn't brilliant, but I'd like to see us build a defense. I think that's a traditional Giants. It's a Giants sort of I grew up. When I first started getting into NFL watching. I like defensive teams. I always have done. Same in what you'd call soccer. I like watching defense, and I think that's where I'd like the Giants to go. And I think if you can trade down and get a couple extra pieces there, I think that helps massively. Our secondary's poor, our linebacking core non-existent. We can't stop the run. These are the areas we need to look at, and I have more worries there than I do on offense. But I have more faith in this regime. I know the GM is still technically the same, but I'm not sure he holds the power anymore.
I don't think he holds the power anymore at all. Joe, what is your final thought?
He can barely hold the power, let alone the power. D-man, he is not.
That phrase. He didn't say it.
Label the damn soundboard.
It's the professionalism.
Number 47. Just press 47.
No, it's 40. 47 is
draft, baby. Yeah.
There's 40. That's actually 49.
Told you my British accent was rubbish.
Power is 40. 47 is.
That's great. That's just fucking great.
It's Hudson from Aliens. Big Joe.
Yes, sir.
Close us out here, brother. Close us out.
Final thoughts. I love the 5 reasons this team could make the playoffs, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether they do or they don't. Here's what matters. They need to develop Jackson Dart. We need to establish that he is their quarterback of the future. That's what needs to be determined this year. Development, and let's establish if he is or is not their quarterback of the future. And let's continue the construction of a roster. Let's get the culture, the John Harbaugh winning ways in here. And let's start pushing this team in the right direction for real contention so that by 2027 or more likely 2028, we can have conversations about the Giants being a real Super Bowl contender. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Mike Lee says, tell him the story about waiting at the airport and finally meeting Dom. Quick thing. I never met Dom before in person. I only talked to him this way. So I'm waiting outside of customs. A lot of people haven't heard this term. Waiting outside of customs for Dom. And Dom, of course, is late because of the fact that I forget why, because there was something in the line.
Oh, customs took like
and I laugh because I'm on the phone.
Longer than a flight.
Yeah, it actually was. So I laughed though because there's this little girl comes out pulling this little pink suitcase. I'm on the phone with Dom. And I say to Dom, I said, "Oh, I think I see you." I said, "No, it's just a 6-year-old pulling a little pink suitcase." So Dom comes out of customs, and I'm standing there, and I'm talking to him, and I'm trying to tell him, I'm trying to explain to him where I am, and I love it because Dom's first response was, "I don't need to know where you are. I can see you. You're pretty hard to miss." And I was like, I'm not sure how I'm going to take that right now in the middle of the airport. But I always love it because we always go by the size differential between me and Dom. Dom, I think sometimes my head is bigger than your entire body. But that's why we love the Dahmer. Dahmer's always been a good Dom, you've always been a good guy with the show. You've always helped us out when you especially with the draft, man. I mean, that's a lot of work and an arduous process. So I mean, I hope you're up for it this year because Giants pick early again.
Well, it means I can go back to bed early, but
no, you gotta go full round again.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's it's always a pleasure doing that show, and I do what I always do, which is wing it.
I'm a professional.
He learned how to prep from you, Tim.
He did learn how to
prep.
Prep? What's that?
Let's get to what stuff. Where are we going for dinner?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
probably one of those local spots. But Joe, you booked a guest for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you close it out by tell us who is coming on? I believe it's April 8th, Wednesday at 4:15 of next week.
I sure will. Before I do that, I do have to ask Dom a question. Yay or nay on Marmite?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Marmite's good.
The saltiest thing you've ever eaten in your life, Tim.
Oh, I was gonna say, Dom, I gotta.
I don't know. You've not tried my mother's cooking.
I was gonna say, Dom, yay or nay on Ovaltine? What are you people talking about?
Well,
Go ahead, Big Joe. Close it out, Big
let
Joe.
me close this thing out so you can get to eat. Emery Hunt from Football Game Plan, CBS, and you've probably heard him on some of the Ross Tucker podcast, going to come on and talk draft. This guy is second to none when it comes to draft coverage. And I'm not saying it because I have a background with him. I'm saying it because, yes, he's going to cover all those prospects that you've heard everybody else cover. But he's going to find guys that nobody else is talking about. He's going to find small school guys. And he's going to and these guys are going to end up getting drafted. And you're going to be like, I didn't see them in anybody else's 7-round mock. I didn't see them on Pro Football Jokis's big board. I didn't see him on this big board and that big board. And you're not going to. But he's going to unearth guys that you ain't ever heard of, that you haven't seen talked about anywhere else. And they're going to get drafted on day 3, or they're going to be UDFAs that sign, and they're going to make rosters, and they're going to play. And there's a couple of guys that he's going to talk about when he's on with Tim that you ain't ever heard of, that you're not seeing on anybody else's big board, that are going to get drafted by somebody on day 3, and they're going to end up making rosters and making an immediate impact in their rookie year.
There we go. Of course, we have Joe Spano. We have Dom from Arsenal Domination. Always talking everything Arsenal. So make sure you go find Big Dom's channel. It's under Arsenal Domination. 84. And I never knew it was. It took me a year, Dom, to figure out it was Arsenal Domination.
Well, I didn't realize it until you told me.
Because someone asked me what your channel was. I'm like, Arsenal Domination. He's like, is it Arsenal Domination 84? I'm like, I don't fucking know. And then I look, I'm like, oh my God, it is. I never even noticed that his channel had an 8 and a 4 afterwards. But go out, check Dom's channel if you're into American, or I should say European football. It's always fun. It's always fun to watch. I want to thank everyone from tuning in. I also want to thank the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com, number one sportsbook in America. Also want to thank ZipRecruiter. Don't forget ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Try ZipRecruiter for free. This is Tim, this New York Giants Straight Talk on the Believe Network. For Tim, for Dom, for Joe, for everyone else, I'm going to dinner, and we're out of here.